Hi guys, it's Lita. So I wanted to do a video about the 215 children's remains that were found like a couple weeks ago at a residential school in British Columbia, Canada, because like it's crazy. I knew about the residential schools before because of the podcasts that I listened to. One of them was talking about how like they just lost a family member because they were put in the residential school system. So that is completely crazy. So I will read the BBC article for you guys so you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, so it says Canada mourns as the remains of 215 children were found at an Indigenous school. A mass grave containing the remains of 215 children were found in Canada at a former residential school set up to assimilate Indigenous people. The children were students at the Kamloops Indian Residential School in British Columbia that was closed in 1978. The discovery was announced on Thursday by Chief Tecumseh Secwepemc of the First Nation. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. I don't know how to say that. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said it was a painful reminder of a shameful chapter in our country's history. I just want to stop on that because like I feel like nobody knew about this, and like I don't know. I feel like Canada like has like this like clean image of like the nice country, you know, and they have like dirt like this that I feel like everybody was like, whoa, like it came out of like left field. But like this, like what they do as far as these schools is awful. It's terrible. First Nation is working with the museum specialist and the coroner's office to establish the cause and timing of death, which are not currently known. Roseanne Casimir, the chief's community in British Columbia's city of Kamloops, said the preliminary findings represent the unthinkable loss that was never documented by the school's administrators. Canada's residential schools were compulsory boarding schools run by the government and religious authorities during the 19th and 20th centuries with the aim of forcible assimilation Indigenous youth. I feel like they're missing a word there. The Kamloops Residential School was the largest in the residential system. Opened under Roman Catholic administration in 1890, the school had as many as 500 students when enrollment peaked in the 1950s. The central government took over the administration of the school in 1969 and operated it as residence for local students until 1978 when it was closed. The Tecumseh Secwepemc First Nation said that the remains found with the help of the ground penetrating radar during a survey of the school. To our knowledge, these missing children are undocumented deaths, Ms. Casimir said. Some were as young as 3 years old. We sought out a way to confirm that, knowing out of the deepest respect and love for those children and families, understanding that the Tecumseh Secwepemc is the final resting place of these children. The tribe says that it has reached out to home communities whose children attended the school, expected to have preliminary findings by mid-June. British Columbia's chief coroner, Lisa Laponte, told Canadian broadcaster CBC, "We are in the early process of gathering information." And then it goes on to explain what the residential schools were. So I will just read that for you guys. So the residential schools happened from 1863 to 1998. There were more than 150,000 indigenous children taken from their families and placed in these schools. The children were often not allowed to speak their language or practice their culture, and many were mistreated and abused. A commission launched in 2008 to document the impacts of the system found a large number of indigenous children never returned to their homes or communities. The landmark Truth and Reconciliation report released in 2015 said that the policy amounted to cultural genocide. In 2008, the Canadian government formally apologized for the system. The Missing Children Project documents the deaths and burials of children who have died while attending schools. To date, there is more than 4,100 children who have died while attending residential schools have been identified. Okay, so yeah, like, I guess what they missed here, like, in that, like, residential schools is, like, you had to go to these schools. Like, they went to your house, took your kids and put them in these schools, and it was mandatory. If you were native, like indigenous to Canada, you had to go to these schools. And when they talk about people going missing out of these places, like 100%, mad people went missing out of these places. Mad people lost contact with their families and never saw other family members again, which is horrifying. That is crazy that they just tried to assimilate them into Canadian society and completely disregard their own culture. They wanted to erase it. They wanted to erase indigenous culture. That is exactly what these schools' purpose was, to erase what they were and make them into something different. And I mentioned the podcasts that I found out about this whole residential school thing before the 215 children remains were found. So there's one that's called Finding Chloe, and that talks about how they completely lost track of their sister because their sister got taken away. And so their parents weren't actually able to take care of the kids properly. Even if you could take care of your kids properly, they still took your kids and put them in these institutions because it was mandatory, like I said. So even if you didn't have problem, even if you didn't have like DCF knocking on your door talking about like you're not taking care of your kids, they would still take your kids. The Finding Chloe podcast is parents weren't taking care of their kids and they lost their sister and they just lost her. They had no idea where she was. Her mom was in the residential school system. This is generational. They have put so many people in these schools to brainwash them, to wash them of their culture, which is nuts. And then these 215 kids remains, these institutions are basically like orphanages, and orphanages and asylums don't really have a good track record as far as treating people the way people need to be treated. It's always got a crazy stigma to it because history has shown us that these places have been super corrupt. They've been super abusive because there's a power dynamic in those places that is so conducive to people being allowed to abuse other people. And that is exactly what happened, like, in these schools. The abuse was rampant because, like, who is gonna say anything? You know, like, they're remote schools too, just like asylums. So, like, just like they just like remove you, they put you in like this like crazy remote location, and like, who the fuck are you gonna tell that somebody is like slapping you around or doing worse shit to you? Like, you aren't gonna be able to tell anybody. There's nobody to go to because it's just gonna make it worse for you. So I'll try to find the other podcast that was talking about this. So yeah, I just wanted to see if you guys were like aware of this crazy shit, if you heard about it, because it's been on like my news feed, like that popped up. It popped up on my TikTok. So yeah, like, I just thought it was crazy. Let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on other social media. My links will be posted in the description box down below. Hit that notification bell so you guys know when I upload. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.